I have a question from the verse below. And the verse reads, therefore, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. So, Nisha asks, what is meant by offering our bodies as living sacrifices? I will read the verse again. Therefore, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. What is meant by offering our bodies as living sacrifices? A sacrifice, Manisha, is when you give up the inferior for the superior. A sacrifice does not mean a loss. A sacrifice rather means a profitable exchange. A sacrifice means that that which is fit to be just a medium is being used as a medium. Sacrifice means that which should be never given the place of the ultimate, of the first one, is being kept in its proper place. A sacrifice really means that one is willing to give up the inessential for the essential. There are two ways of looking at the body. One way is to take the body as an end into itself, And if the body is an end into itself, then the purpose for which the body must be used is the purpose of pleasure. Then the rightful use of the body is to please the body. This is the material dominated view of the universe. This is the body dominated view of the universe. This is the material dominated view of the body. And then there is another way of looking at the body. That way is to realize that the highest is not material, that the highest is not really bodily. Then the body becomes a medium. Then the body does not remain self serving. Then one uses the body not to please the body itself, but to reach a higher purpose. The demand of the mind for physical pleasure is then rightfully weighed against the much, much deeper but unexpressed demand of the mind for total gratification via total dissolution. Then one says that pleasing the body is all right, but even the mind that demands pleasure for the body actually demands a pleasure much higher, a pleasure in another dimension. Understand it through an example. A fellow comes to you and he is very, very thirsty. And at the same time, he is quite greedy. He says, I need water. And then 10 times he says, I need gold. The demand for gold is 10 times more expressed. Which demand are you going to fulfill if you are to choose? If you go by the frequency of his expression, then very frequently he is just expressing his demand for gold. But he is thirsty, and he is severely thirsty. He is thirsty since a very long time. If you do not give him water, it would cause him irreparable damage. Water is not merely water now, water is medicine. What would you rather give him? You would obviously give him water. This is the meaning of sacrifice. Withdraw that which is not essential in favor of that which is totally and truly essential. Often, the inessential is a barrier. It is not merely a matter of choice between the essential and the inessential. It is an inevitable requirement that one must give up the inessential so that the essential might be found. One cannot have both. Jesus says one cannot worship two masters. One cannot worship God and mammon together. One cannot worship God and gold together. So it is not as if one can have the quenching of thirst and the quenching of greed together. The fellow in our example cannot have water and gold together. One has to be chosen. So giving up the unnecessary is very, very necessary. Sacrifice does not mean that you are reduced. Sacrifice does not mean that you have lost something. Sacrifice rather means that you know that the ultimate is worth having and all else can be given up for it, because in comparison to the ultimate, all else means nothing. Because if the ultimate is everywhere and everything, then there is nothing else but the ultimate. So if you really look at it, your profit is endless. It is a transaction that you must absolutely and blindly make. Sacrifice does not take away anything from you. Sacrifice rather blesses you with that which you are truly searching for. You can use your legs to take you to the most wretched of places. You can also use your legs to take you to a temple. You can use your throat and tongue to abuse, to lie, to gossip. You can also use your throat and lips and tongue to sing a carol or a Kabir bhajan or hymns from sacred scriptures. The body has to be used to take you beyond the body. The body has to be used as a vehicle. To that extent, the body has to be looked after and cared for. When one has a car, one takes care of it, one services it, one feeds it, one polishes it, one maintains it. But one does not maintain it for the purpose of maintenance. One maintains it so that the vehicle can take you to the destination that will fulfill you. The fulfillment is important. And if the vehicle has turned upon you in the sense that it only consumes fuel and your time and your energy and takes you nowhere, then you better give up such a vehicle. The house is there so that you can have the basic necessary comfort that will enable your mind to have the peace, the tranquility, and the physical security needed to dive deep into the truth. One does not have a house so that one's life is spent just caring for the house. Such is the purpose of the body, the relationships, the possessions, and the entire world. They all have only one legitimate purpose. The purpose is that they should enable you to use them to move beyond them. I will read the verse once again. In view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. This is your spiritual act of worship. Living sacrifices. The body has to be taken care of. It must continue to live so that your consciousness may deepen. We are not talking of dead flesh here. We are talking of a body that is a carrier of consciousness, not just dead meat. That is what makes the body special. The body and consciousness go together. And where there is consciousness, there is the possibility of deepening of consciousness and hence the ultimate awareness. The task is twofold. On one hand, you must take care of the body. On the other hand, you must remember that you are taking care of the body not because the body has to be maintained for itself, but because the body is to be used as a medium, as an agent, as a vehicle, as a servant, as the bridge that can potentially take you to God. The word potentially is everything. Potentially, you are not only close to God, but also God. And actually, how you live, how your life pans out, depends totally on you. All the potential has been blessed to you. You can either make the most of it or you can squander it, litter it away. Hmm? Learn to use the body.